All right, it is 5 o'clock, so we can get started and call to order. First item on the agenda would be the approval of minutes for the August 13, 2024 regular meeting.
So moved.
All
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. Communications from the audience. This is for items not listed as a public hearing on the agenda, but if you have anything you'd like to share, now would be your chance. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. 648 Hastings Avenue, site plan request for an organic vegetable garden, including fruit trees, grapevines, native wildflowers, and prairie grasses. The project will also include a shed, greenhouse, driveway, and fencing. So, Bruce Eckert, or applicant, will you come up?
Well, thank you for having me. I'd like to just give you a brief overview of my plan. You've undoubtedly had an opportunity to read through the application. But my plan is I'm planning to use 648 Hastings to develop an urban garden. I almost hesitate to call it development because there's so little being developed there. So as background, 648 Hastings, Hastings is near 31, just out between 24th and 32nd. The BPW's Customer Service Center is at the corner of Hastings and 24th. A little ways down, there are several empty lots. Two on the east side and one on the west. 648 is the one on the west side. It was originally developed part of a development called Van Mill Square in 1988. And this lot has essentially been vacant and for sale all that time since then. So moving ahead a little bit, a couple of better views here. So in the overhead aerial photo, you can see the lot. Across the street from it is the Microtel Hotel, if that helps position things. To the north of it is an office building that has the legal aid office and a mental health drop-in center in it. To the south is Kids Food Bank, a charity that helps feed needy children. Very consistent with what I'm proposing to do. And then behind it is the Wilshire Court condominium complex. The lot itself, it's just a little under an acre. It's 0.919 approximately. Here's a photo I took of it about 6 weeks ago. It has been mowed since, but pretty level, flat lot, cleared except for 2 trees in the northwest corner. Which will be preserved. So, getting to my plan, here's my site plan. What I want to do, and this is really a personal goal, interest of mine, is to establish an organic vegetable garden on this site. Now, this has more land than I really need or want for even a large garden. So my plan is to carve a piece out of the middle, put a fence up around it, and grow fruits and vegetables inside that space. I'm planning to construct a small shed for storing tools and supplies, and also a greenhouse, and put in a driveway so I have a place to park if I drive over there. It is just less than a mile from my house, so most of the time I'll be walking or biking, but I'll need the driveway. That's really it as far as development. So 98% of the land will remain planted with plants. So very little development going on. The benefits to this, besides what accrue to me. I think from a community standpoint, this is very consistent with the city's sustainability and development goals. I mean, it preserves open space, it adds some variety to the neighborhood, adds some beauty to it. encourages pollinators, helps with stormwater runoff. And I didn't mention this, but the space that I'm not using for the garden or the shed or the greenhouse, my plan is to plant it with native wildflowers and native prairie grasses, very much like the BPW has done at their property at 24th and Hastings. So we'll be encouraging native vegetation in the area as well. Now, in order to protect the neighboring properties from any migration of those, that in the wrong place, some of those plants, somebody might consider them weeds. So, so I'm putting a turf grass buffer around the entire site to help reduce the possibilities of my plants migrating to places where they would not be wanted. That's really it. I can answer questions that you have. I can go into some of the details of, the shed and other aspects of it, wherever you would like to proceed.
Steve, did you have anything to add on your end?
Sure, maybe just a couple comments here. So in terms of our process, this is, as Bruce has mentioned, I think he did, this is in the Planning and Development District. So because this use wasn't originally thought of, is really the reason why it's in front of you. So you are being asked to approve a new use to the project. In our zoning district, in our zoning ordinance, we do allow for greenhouses in the PUD district. We're using the greenhouse description because that's really the closest thing that we have towards what he's describing. So in terms of zoning, it is a permittable use, obviously with your permission, with your approval. Also mentioned just real quickly that this has been through the review process internally with all the different city departments. They've all provided comments. You've got those in your report. There really wasn't anything that, any concerns that any of the different departments had. You guys did ask the question at study session about parking on Hastings, and the transportation department has made a comment in here. And just because of some of the curvature in the road, they really don't want to allow for any parking on the street as a result of the project. As Bruce has mentioned, he's got the ability to really park on his driveway, and we kind of gave ourselves an out that if they were to change the use, if something changes and it becomes more of a operation where they have a lot more visitors, that we would be able to revisit that parking issue in the future. And Bruce and I haven't talked about this, but I guess there is area on the property that if they had to build parking, we're not trying to encourage that by any means, but if they had to, there is space to be able to do that. So I guess I just give you sort of the highlights from the staff report. The recommendation from staff is that you do approve the project with the comments that are in the staff report. But I don't think I really have anything more to add either.
Okay, thank you. This does require a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience who would like to comment or offer their perspective, now would be the time to do so. If you have something, please state your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Amy Eckert. I live at 116 East 23rd Street here in Holland, and I'm Bruce's wife. I just wanted to give you a little perspective. Since before we were married, Bruce has talked about a dream of an organic fruit and vegetable farm someday. And this coming Sunday, we'll be married 40 years. So it's been a long time that this has been a dream of his. Since we've been married, he's always had some kind of garden of some sort. From the time we lived on 14th Street and now in our residence on 23rd Street, he's always had some sort of vegetable garden going on. He spends his springs planting little seedlings up in his work office under a grow light. He spends his summers planting and organizing and watering and supporting and using organic methods to combat bugs and mildew and that sort of thing. He has spent years trying to figure out just the right sort of compost pile to improve the product that comes out of his garden. And when the winter comes and he can't work in his garden, he uses graph paper to plot out what he's going to do with his garden next year and poring over organic seed catalogs and heritage plants. So this is really a passion of his. He puts a lot of time and effort into it. He listens to gardening podcasts, reads gardening books. So I'm quite certain that if he has the opportunity to move ahead with this plan, it won't be just thrown together. He has a serious interest in the project, and I think he'll do a good job.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? All right, we will go ahead and close the public hearing. Discussion among the board and the planning commission. Nothing? Anyone want to make a motion?
I would do that. I will make a motion to approve approve the garden use in the PUD and the site plan with the conditions noted.
Support.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, on to our next set of business. 367 Country Club Road site plan approval extension request for multifamily development with 120 residential units.
Hello,
Hi.
Shane with Malone Development LLC.
Yes.
So the project was approved in April, I believe, of last year-ish. And obviously, since then, there's been a lot of changes in the macro economy, as we all know. Specifically, the Fed raising interest rates by quite a bit, construction costs being substantially high. So we made a decision to put the project on pause intentionally until things calm down. And I do think that looking forward now, it looks potentially much brighter than it has been over the past year or so. So that's the reason for the delay in any kind of advancement on the project, and that's the reason for the request for the extension of, I believe it's an additional 12 months, Steve had mentioned, for this project. So nothing else has changed, no changes to the plan, still 120 units, and the same unit mix, so on and so forth. So
Wonderful.
happy to answer any questions, or I can sit down either way.
Not much to add.
Okay.
You've done these a couple times. Again, no changes to the site plan, and I would describe the changes that we've made to Udo wouldn't impact the approval that you've issued here. So we're recommending that you approve the year extension for the site plan.
All right,
Okay.
any other comments?
Other than so moved.
Well, yeah, I need a formal motion,
Oh,
I think.
Or move to approve the, extend it for a year.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to item C, Planning Commission Fiscal Year 2024 Annual Report.
All right. So I just have a couple highlights in here. You guys have seen the annual report. It's in your packet, but I just have a couple slides here that I thought would be interesting to go over. This first one is really just a report back to you about our work plan items that we identified. Those were the 12 different tasks that you gave us to work on. You can see I've tried to highlight there in the red comments maybe some progress that we've made or work that's been being done. There's a couple of them that don't have any red after them, so we haven't forgotten about them. We just maybe haven't gotten something done that I thought we could report back. A couple things to highlight there. There was quite a few tasks that we were given that sort of revolved around the transit system. In particular, I made a comment about West Michigan Express, so we certainly have been very involved in that. Excited to be involved in that. It just sort of seems to be a slow-moving project. The Rapid out of Kent County is really the agency that's sort of heading that up now. And so we're still staying connected with that, really pushing them to, make sure that it's a positive thing for the city of Holland. And even to the point of commenting about our interest of getting connected directly to Ford Airport. So they've heard all of that stuff for us, and really at this point, we've been waiting for some updates from them where they're at. Haven't gotten a whole lot of updates yet, so expecting to get some soon. Anna and our department has done a lot of work in regards to some of those historical tasks that we have, since that's kind of a new section in the master plan. So we've made some work out of some of that as well. So happy to answer any questions you might have for that, but really just wanting to report back some of the things that have going on as a result. You've seen some of these before. I know I've given you this graph already when we did the admin updates. But again, just sort of showing some the development interest in projects that have come to the Planning Commission, administrative approval over the last few years. And again, sort of that same sort of graph, recommendations to City Council. It's not in this chart here, but it's in the report. And, you know, one of the things that we do try to highlight in regards to those text amendments, you know, the different rounds that we've done with Udo, as we call them, right? There's a whole bunch of amendments that are done, but we kind of count each round as one. So maybe the number looks a little underreported, but I guess just to know it's all in there. You just saw this map earlier. Again, I just kind of like it anyway, so I guess I wanted to show you. As Jen, as you commented, you know, it's just kind of nice to see it graphically, to see where some of those things are occurring. Again, these are numbers we put in the report every year, but this year you approved 57 residential units, and all of those were in the category of affordable housing. So I know, that's just a real quick snapshot of the annual report. It's all in there if you've got comments or questions. But if you think it looks all right, we'll be sending that up to City Council.
Looks good. Any other comments? All right, thanks, Steve.
That's all I got.
Okay.
All right, on that note, scheduling of public hearings, there are none. Communications from commission members. Seeing none, I'll move on. Communications from staff.
I don't have anything other than to say we'll have an October meeting.
Cool, awesome. All right, that takes us to the end of our agenda. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.